Hey, it's Erin. Let's talk about fat loss. Fat loss is super easy. It's just calories in versus calories out. If you burn more calories than you take in, you're gonna lose fat. Simple, right? Not so fast. When it comes to fat loss, there are several mistakes that can be made, and these are common mistakes. So I want to go over 5 of those today and how you can fix them. The first mistake is not tracking your food or not tracking properly. If you're not tracking your food, you can be under eating or overeating. You have no idea what your portion sizes are and no idea what your caloric intake is. Not tracking properly can include not weighing or not counting certain foods. It's really important that you establish a baseline as to what you're taking in, and this way you can tell if you need to increase the calories or decrease the calories in order to see results. The second mistake is when you lower your calories, your activity level also drops. This is a very common mistake. Every single day, we have what's called non-exercise activity thermogenesis, or NEAT. And this is just basically the calories you burn by moving around, fidgeting, just daily activity. This can account for between 600 to 1,000 calories per day. Now, when you go on a caloric deficit or on a diet, it is pretty common for the body to auto-regulate. So what this means is that if you were burning about 1,000 calories per day, let's say you cut off 300 calories from your daily meals, your body is just going to adjust. So you'll become more sedentary. It's really important to either track your steps or at least keep track of your activity level before you cut those calories, and make sure you keep that activity level the same. This way you will be guaranteed that you are in a caloric deficit, whereas if you cut the calories and you kind of allow your body to do whatever it wants, your activity level is going to go down. So you will essentially be at maintenance calories. So track your steps, track your activity, and make sure you keep your activity levels up. Mistake number 3, you have estimated your caloric intake and the calories are either too high or they're too low. If you go on to, I believe it's bmrcalculator.net, it's a really great resource for calculating your basal metabolic rate, or BMR. This is just how many calories your body needs on a daily basis to survive. So if you laid in bed and didn't do anything else, this would be the caloric needs. If you have a history of restrictive dieting in the past, or maybe thyroid issues, or if you're very sedentary, that BMR can actually be lower than estimated. So, and you might have a pretty good idea if your metabolism runs fast or if it runs slow. Let's say you've calculated your BMR and you have estimated that your activity level is on the higher side because you train 6 days per week, but you have a desk job, maybe you sit every single day for 8 to 10 hours per day. I would recommend estimating your activity level on the lower side of things to start with, especially if you're looking to lean down. This way you get a more modest estimate as to what your caloric needs should be. Let's look at the flip side of things. Let's say you have calculated your BMR and maybe your metabolism is on the faster side and you want to put yourself in a very aggressive caloric deficit. And you do this and perhaps you see results at first, but maybe after a couple of weeks, things start to stall. Understand that when you have a very low caloric intake on a daily basis, that this can cause your cortisol levels to go up. Now, when we first started the video, we're talking about calories in and calories out, right? So you are definitely burning more calories that you're taking in, but nothing's changing. Well, with cortisol rising, what is happening is you're actually losing body fat, but in place of that body fat, your body is holding water due to higher cortisol. So you have a couple of choices at this point. You can continue to push through, and eventually that plateau will break. You will see really good results. Of course, if you're not eating enough, you can slow your metabolism down. Keep in mind that you can speed it back up over time. So metabolism is elastic. So that is option 1, is to just continue pushing through on that aggressive deficit. Option number 2 would be to do a little food bump, introduce some carbs. We're talking maybe 200 or 300 calories, nothing crazy. And that may be enough to lower the cortisol levels and help your body flush out that water, and you may drop a few pounds overnight. So those are the 2 options, but it is easier to go off of your food log and track things properly to figure out where maintenance is and just subtract about 300 calories per day from maintenance to go into a deficit versus not knowing where you're starting from and estimating your BMR and adding in your activity level from there. So that's why I always recommend tracking your food, at least at first. This is going to give you a really good idea as to where your baseline is for maintenance. Mistake number 4, eating at the wrong times. Yes, your caloric intake overall does really matter, but if you're eating all of your calories at, let's say, 9 or 10 o'clock at night, you may not see results this way. And typically what will happen is someone will eat breakfast, maybe they'll go to work, they'll have a super busy day, and they won't eat for, I don't know, 5 to 8 hours. And then when you get home, then you realize how hungry you are and end up eating the bulk of your calories after work or even after your workout. Now, for some people, they can do that. They can handle eating a larger meal later on in the evening. But for most people, especially if you're looking to lean down, having several small meals spread out throughout the day is going to be the best approach. Now, eating according to your circadian rhythm can be really helpful. This is just your sleep-wake cycle. And keep in mind that as you start getting ready for sleep, your body's melatonin levels will increase. Melatonin can actually inhibit the release of insulin. And what this means is that you will have a harder time digesting a larger meal later in the evening as your body switches from daily activity mode to sleep mode. So if you're one of those people who eats the majority of your calories later on in the evening, try to start spreading out those meals and really try to eat the bulk of your calories before and after training. This can be really helpful. It can help you maintain that lean muscle mass and speed up the metabolism, and when you get home at night, you won't be as hungry. Mistake number 5, not being patient. Results take time, and keep in mind that if you have put yourself in a caloric deficit, that you may see really great results for the first few days. Maybe you drop quite a few pounds. You could drop 4 to 6 pounds. That's not unheard of, especially when you're cleaning things up. And then what can happen is you can plateau for a bit. So if you're in a caloric deficit, make sure again that your activity levels are high, that you're eating small meals throughout the day, a protein-rich diet, that you're tracking everything, and just be patient. Keep working out, keep tracking, keep at it. You will see results. In addition to weighing yourself, it is really a good idea to take measurements, and this way you can gauge where the bulk of the weight is coming from. If you drop 2 inches off of your waist and maybe a ½ inch off your shoulders, then you know that the majority of that weight lost is going to be fat. If you like this video, please consider subscribing, and don't forget to click the little bell. You'll be the first to know whenever a new video comes out. Thanks for watching. Until next time, train hard and eat smart, y'all.